morning, everyone. I'm Ed Harding, along with our colleague here at News Center 5, Jenny War, our political reporter. Thank you for joining us on The Record. This morning, we've got a pre-New Hampshire primary primer. Try to say that 3 times fast. And one of the best people to talk about what's going on up north is here this morning, Mike Dennehy. Mike, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
He has a 20-year history of success in GOP political campaigns. As a senior advisor to John McCain in 2000 and 2008, he led the campaign to its largest victory, the come-from-behind upset win that put McCain on the path to the Republican nomination for president. As the national political director for McCain in 2008, he assembled national, regional, and state teams. In 2002, Michael founded Dennehy and Boulay, the government relations firms. You're quite accomplished on your resume. He's got Bay State roots because he was raised in South Weymouth and went to South Weymouth High School, right?
That's right.
Almost 25 years ago, he graduated from the high school itself. So great to have you with us this morning.
Great to be here.
Welcome. So is there a scenario by which Newt Gingrich could actually win New Hampshire?
I think there is, yes. He's got tremendous momentum right now. And I think the problem for Newt, however, is that we're still 4 weeks away. 3 weeks away. So the more time that he has, he'll lose momentum, likely. I think almost his best hope now, though, is for Newt to take over first place in New Hampshire and then Mitt Romney come back for a victory. Otherwise, if Newt comes within 5 points of Mitt Romney, it's probably a perceived victory for Newt Gingrich.
How important is Iowa this particular year to New Hampshire? It seems to be growing as each presidential campaign season grows.
It's funny, Iowa and New Hampshire has never really been connected very well. However, this year it's so unique for so many reasons. And the ups and downs and rise and falls of different candidates, I think Iowa will have a fairly big impact this year, depending on what happens, where Mitt Romney comes in on the
how big the size of the margin is that what you're saying?
Right, yeah.
How much does Romney, would he have to win New Hampshire? I know we're still a couple of weeks out, but a few weeks out, but how much would Mitt Romney have to win New Hampshire in order for it to be called a decisive victory? 10 points, 15 points, 5 points?
10 plus. 10 plus. He's been in the lead 20, 25 points the whole year, and it's his firewall, let's face it. Even their campaign recognizes it.
And if he comes in, like, say, 3rd or 4th in Iowa, will that damage him badly in the Granite State?
That's the impact I think it will have. If he comes in 3rd or 4th, that will be a problem. And there's a poll out just the other day on Friday that shows him in first place in Iowa.
And, well, go ahead.
I was going to say, New Hampshire is best known for its retail politics. It doesn't appear to be the case this year. Why?
Man, that's a great question. I think this entire race has been affected by the late start. We had so many candidates decide against running, but that didn't happen until October. Chris Christie was the latest one in October to just announce he's not going to run.
Right.
So things really weren't settled until October. And at that point, you know, the only way to really get in touch and stay in touch with candidates is with the debates.
Well, I was just going to say, there seems to be a debate every day.
Yeah.
You know, there seems to, before we even hit 2012, we've probably had 15 of them or so. Has that replaced retail politics?
I think this is an anomaly this year. It's unique in so many ways, and I don't think we'll ever see one like this again. I think from Sarah Palin to Chris Christie to Donald Trump, those celebrities, for lack of a better term, who decided against running, pushed off the true start of the race to October of this year, almost November 1st. So as a result, everything got pushed back. The retail campaigning is hot and heavy right now. You see all the candidates doing traditional town halls, and they're getting crowds of 1,000.
Are those town halls also? You know, they're more staged. You can control the message a little easier. Is it a little more effective method of campaigning for today's politicians?
The town halls?
Yeah, those small town hall meetings.
The small ones, maybe. And you know, Mitt Romney, I think, really controlled his town hall meetings up to about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But once you can't stop people from coming in. So once you get to 500, 600, 700, you can't control the message, and you have to talk briefly and let people ask questions. That's what they're there for. And then there's no controlling the message at all.
We've heard 2 things. We've heard a book sales tour. Remember that was attached to Herman Cain. Herman Cain's running for president. It's a book sale.
Right.
And Newt also is in that boat. Is that part of what we're seeing this year?
I think that's part of it. You know, every candidate has always had a book. When they announce for president, they have a book that goes hand in hand with the announcement. John McCain did as well. And that's kind of part of the initial stages of campaigning. It doesn't usually go as far as a few weeks before the election.
But what about the ads? The ads, usually by this time, we're flooded with campaign ads, especially here in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. We haven't been seeing that so far in the presidential race. What's going on there?
It's unbelievable. Again, I chalk it up to the late start. We have not You've had candidates rise and fall. Mitt Romney's the only one who's steadily been able to fundraise and hold on to money. And he hasn't had to spend it because he's been in the lead for so long. Until just a few weeks ago, he started spending heavily in New Hampshire. Rick Perry had $17 million, but he fell so quickly that he had to hold on to that because he knew he wasn't going to raise another dime. So he's been spending it carefully. No other candidate has raised a substantial amount of monty.
We have reached a point in the show we call OTR's Pop Quiz. You know, that's what everybody says. Oh, boy. The theme for today's OTR Pop Quiz is what else? The New Hampshire primary. Question 1. How much money does it cost to enter the New Hampshire primary?
$1,000.
$1,000. The focus is on the top GOP presidential contenders, but how many Republican candidates are actually on the 2012 New Hampshire primary ballot? And I'll give you numbers. 20, 30, or 40 candidates?
I would have told you it was 20 before you gave me the option.
It's 30 GOP.
30 GOP? I just counted 20 this morning.
30 GOP. See right there.
Really? It says it on there.
We continue on the record with Mike Dennehy. Stay with us. Mike Dennehy is actually throwing the protest flag a little bit. So
protest flag.
We're going to check the 20 or 30, but so we'll see what happens, right? Question 3. In the 2008 New Hampshire primary, a Democratic surprise, Hillary Clinton beats Barack Obama. By how many points did Mrs. Clinton win?
4 points?
By 10 points.
10 points in New Hampshire.
She won going away in New Hampshire. Clinton and Obama fought it out until June. Mrs. Clinton, Barack Obama fought it out until June. In what symbolic New Hampshire town did Barack and Hillary form a united front for Obama?
Oh, it was...
right on the tip
Western
of your
New
tongue.
Hampshire.
Sounds like what united?
Unity.
There we.
Thank you.
One of the most comical memories of the New Hampshire primary lore: a GOP presidential contender fell off the stage at a candidate pancake flipping breakfast, and that embarrassed chef was.
Gary Bauer?
Gary Bauer.
As a matter of fact, I was standing right there, and he almost fell on top of me.
Were you really? Yeah.
This season, it seems that the candidates are being sort of much more isolated from the media than in previous years. Here you'll see Romney trying to avoid reporters in Manchester. It was just a couple of weeks ago. But he's not the only one. Newt Gingrich in New Hampshire took only a couple of questions thrown at him earlier this week when he couldn't but some of the questions he couldn't resist answering. It was clear he was told not to engage. What's going on here, Mike?
I think it's a mistake. I come from the John McCain world where you get as much media as you can. I think you can use the media for free media purposes, and it's great for the campaign. But I can't explain why other candidates won't do it.
Do you think this is the end of freewheeling relationships with media, or do you think it's just an anomaly?
No, I think it's an anomaly, especially when you consider, they've gotten all this free media from the debates and the coverage of the debates, which is equally as important. So I think it's the individual candidates who make a decision. They don't get.
Do you think the voter realizes that when they don't have this freewheeling exchange, that it's a much more controlled environment? Does that influence the voters, or do you think this is sort of way above heads?
I think it's mostly above their heads. However, if we went the next few weeks in this New Hampshire primary without the exchanges, the direct contact with candidates, and the media having direct contact with the candidates, I think that would hit them over the heads pretty hard. They're used to talking to the candidates.
In 2008, you staged the John McCain come from behind win in New Hampshire. Okay, so let me put the hat on now. You're going to advise Mitt Romney. What would you advise Mitt Romney to do right now?
It's his firewall. He needs to spend as much time in New Hampshire as he can, all over the state, having those town hall meetings, direct encounters with voters, one-on-one, answering the tough questions. He's got to show that he can handle the difficulty as you get close to the race.
New Hampshire is critical, you believe, for Mitt Romney? Absolutely?
I think it's the ball game for him.
All right, so given that, run down your prediction for me. Who wins New Hampshire on January 10th?
I think Mitt Romney wins.
You think Mitt Romney? Do you think he wins by the margin you think is adequate that people might think, in other words, is it greater than 10 points, do you think?
I don't think it will be.
You don't think
I think it'll be inside of 10.
All right, second will be?
Newt Gingrich.
You think Newt will ride in, and third will be?
A fairly close Ron Paul.
Close to Newt Gingrich?
Yes.
Which is inside there. What about John Huntsman? He spent a lot of time. He spent a lot of money.
He's just had mixed messages from day one. He's running as a moderate. He's running as a conservative. He hasn't given a good rationale for his existence in the campaign and the race for president. I think he ends up probably 10%.
He's got a little bit of traction in the lady list polls, but you don't think it's going to be much more than what he's gotten right now?
I think there's as many polls out there that show him under 10 as the one that came out that shows him above 10. So I think he's going to end up right at about 10%.
Mike Dennehy, thank you for coming in this morning. It's great having you.
Thanks
great
for having me.
GOP politics with Mike Dennehy for being our OTR guest. We appreciate that coming in this morning, sir. Coming up next, OTR.